Right, now I don't have to keep looking over there. I hope everyone's doing well. This is not my typical live stream time, but lo and behold, here I am. So, update on the windstorms that we had. We still got wind, by the way. It's actually knocking my little Land Cruiser around. So the wind, if you look, there were satellite pictures posted on X and on Instagram, which were really telling because we had a front move from New Mexico and went north, and then a different front, a low pressure, was building under us and went south toward the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, and whatever you want to call it. And it created this vacuum effect right over southern New Mexico and what the western part of Texas, pretty much from the Panhandle down to Fort Stockton, and then the wind started in Hobbs, El Paso, and went all the way to Dallas. The winds sustained were on the order of about 50 miles an hour. Hey, Billy, what's going on? The gusts were up to 80. And if you look on, I tried to post some of the videos that were pictures that were coming to me. There were semis driving straight, and then a gust would hit them, and you'd see the trailer do this. And essentially what the truck did, the driver was smart. He put on his emergencies and slowly tried to go to the shoulder. And he knew he was going over. He just plopped over on the shoulder. There was an accident. I think it was on not I-20, Interstate 27, that over 40 vehicles as of this point, and it was no snow, no ice. Hey, Niels, it was purely the windstorm effect. Aside from the wind, the dust was thick. Visibility in a lot of the areas. I was going to go for a drive just to show everyone a live stream, and then my neighborhood Facebook group, somebody showed that they had lost shingles on their roof. It was that bad. Hey, Buttermeat Pancake. And jeez, Matt, I tried to I'm trying to keep it non-political, and yes, people's lives matter, but in any case, you need to be aware of a tornado hit Kentwood about 30 minutes. So you guys were getting the wind all the way out to West Texas. So hey, NYC, how you doing, man? Hey, Moonsprout. So the winds were pretty bad, pretty much from West Texas and southern New Mexico all the way to Dallas. Dallas was having accidents because people couldn't see. Some of the cities with the flyovers, the overpasses, were having pretty good accidents as well because of visibility. And also, once you get elevated, you get a bit of a Venturi effect, and the wind speeds up between buildings or on overpasses. I'm sure you can hear the wind right now as I'm driving. We're getting like 30 miles an hour right now. But, you know, in general, it was it was pretty nasty. There were quite a bit of accidents. Now, one guy, his wife put him, and if I can find it, Lubbock was affected, Laura. Actually, the worst accident happened just outside of Lubbock to the west. Visibility went to 15 feet, and people didn't get off the road because they didn't know where to go. And a semi fell over because it was empty, and he got hit broadside by the wind. He fell over yesterday, and before he could get out of the cab and put out a flare, because mind you, he's sideways now, another vehicle hit him and went spinning into the other lane, and then they just started piling up. So it was pretty nasty. I think it was on I-27. So I don't know if it was toward, what's that? The lake east of Lubbock. I can't remember now. There was one accident in front of Texas Tech yesterday. Right now, visibility is good. I got about a half-mile vis, so not a big deal. I was going to make this run to the other city yesterday, and I saw the accidents on X and on Facebook, and I'm like, it just that. This is when I tell you guys, as the roaming prepper, plan your trips. Sometimes a trip is just not worth taking. You just got to stop and think, do I really need to get behind the wheel right now? Or am I more at risk? But Laura, yeah, I encourage you, check X, if you have an X account, what used to be Twitter or Instagram, and do a search for West Texas or Lubbock windstorm, because that's how I was finding those. But yeah, I think it's settled down. Hey Cobra, hey Moonsprout. Moonsprout, how was the wind by you? So a 3-foot wide, 25 long piece of metal decking fly a few hundred feet because of wind. Okay, so Neil, the wind we had yesterday was like the Santa Ana winds they get in California, but instead of going from the mountains in reverse to the ocean, they were coming from west to east, and they picked up all the dirt in the desert in New Mexico and West Texas and dropped it on everybody. I don't know if that makes sense. So instead of the smoke from the fires, like you'd have in Cali, it was a haboob, basically. It was a legit Middle Eastern looking windstorm. Billy, yeah, that's the plan. I gotta pick up plates for the vehicle. And, ooh, that was a wicked gust. I'm gonna pick up plates for my vehicle. I gotta stop at a store real quick, and then I'm headed back. But yeah, the semis. I know the sheriff in La Mesa, Texas, actually shut down the main road for about 2 hours because of visibility. He put out flares and barriers, and he was diverting traffic to a big empty parking lot. There used to be an old Walmart there, and he was telling people, y'all have to park. We're not allowing any traffic through the town right now unless you're having an emergency. And it's the only thing he could do. He didn't have, it's a small town, so he doesn't have a lot of resources. But he had a big-ass empty parking lot. So he's sending the semis in there. He's like, y'all shut down. When the winds got 40 at one point, he released the trucks to start making their way. But he didn't want a, what was it he said on the news? He did not want a hazmat spill in the middle of his town. So I think that sheriff, I applaud that. I think he was being proactive. He and the deputies, they were trying to do what they could. And hey, Coffee, what's going on? Man, I can feel my little SUVs going because the wind's hitting it from the side. Now they're saying we're going to get another windstorm later tonight, not as bad as the one we got yesterday. One of the things we're worried about is fire risk. A bunch of fires broke out because electrical lines, when the dust hits power lines like that at high speed, it creates static and it creates fires. And we have a bunch of oil rigs out here and pump jacks, and even the wind turbines, which are to the east of me, they're spinning, they create static, they'll catch fire. So I know a lot of workers were out there in their SUVs and pickup trucks, and they were on standby in case something started catching fire to go shut it down. So yeah, we get this happen out here maybe once every couple of years. This was a good one. This was really good. It goes back to why it's important to plan your road trips, why it's super important to be mindful of, come on, speed up, buddy. Come on. There you go. Poor guy, he's arguing with two kids in the back, and then he didn't realize he's about to merge into me. I'm like, go, but you got a commotion in your car, but you got to speed up. So, all right, now he's distracted. He's about to hit someone else here. I really don't need a wreck because of a stupid person. The weather's bad enough, and then you have dumbasses. So, but yeah, Neil, yeah, the wind turbines were taking a beating yesterday. I don't know if any were damaged. The fiberglass blades probably took a hammering too. But yeah, double tap the phone screen. But thank you, Coffee. I appreciate it. But look, you guys, when you make these trips, check your weather. Even if it's just a trip you make every weekend, every once a week. Oh, I got to go to Costco. I got to go to the next town for the farmer's market. Before you make that trip, check your local weather. Semis getting knocked on their side is usually a really bad sign that you probably should not be driving in that weather. It's just, we actually had a crew when I worked in Louisiana. They were trying to beat a hurricane, and the wind got bad early unexpectedly, so they had to take a boat in 15-foot seas, which I've had to do. And I actually got injured because I got tossed off a bench. I went into the air and landed on the deck, and my crew bag went flying and hit one of my coworkers. So we had to start trying to tie shit down while we were hopefully not flying around. But they came back, and then they tried to beat the hurricane to at least the office, the depot, and they didn't make it. And they parked in a van next to a Walmart. And the guys said, we thought we were going to die, bro. Like, there were tornadoes nearby. Debris was hitting the van. It broke a window. So, yeah, don't try and beat hurricanes to a destination. It's usually, you should leave well before. Moonsprout, that's an excellent, you should make a t-shirt on that, lady. Yeah, when in doubt, don't go out. Don't take the risk, right? Unless there's an emergency. And here, this is where we were getting worried, was if we get an electrical fire because of the wind and the debris that causes a grass fire that sets off a tank battery full of oil or diesel. We have, all sorts of oil and gas and solar and also, and then we have an even worse problem, and we have to bug out. We'd have to bug out and pack in that windstorm. So we actually, because I've switched vehicles and I have the SUV instead of a pickup, we went and we dug up the, the thing you put in your trailer hitch and it gives you like a big metal basket behind your SUV. We pulled all of that out. I already pulled out the little bag you strap down on top of your SUV. We pulled the bug out book. We had already packed overnight clothes in duffel bags. And what we did, we packed my wife's SUV, pulled her out, because it was just windy at the time. I backed the SUV in so I could pack mine inside the garage and not get everything blown around. So we pre-packed the vehicles and we waited. And we had leashes in the back of the SUV for the dogs. So if we get notified by the sheriff or something, like, you guys, we got a grass fire and you have to leave, we could have been out of the house in under 10 minutes with cash, bug out book, emergency bags, pet food, the whole 9 yards. We travel so much that we're really good at packing really quick. So yeah, but it got kind of raunchy, especially north of us. Lubbock took a pretty good beating. And then of course the dust went into Dallas, and you have these kids with these little the little race cars, because they like to race on the big loops in Dallas. And these kids were getting in wrecks, and then they were TikToking each other with their fucked up little cars, which I thought was kind of evil and funny at the same time. Because one kid, and he's a race car. He has one of these little Hondas that he turned basically into a Fast and the Furious little car, and it's a really cool car. He has two of them, and he's doing a TikTok, and he's like, see, I told my boys today's a bad day to go out, and I was driving slow because, we don't want to hurt somebody's kids, and this is what my friend gets for playing the fool. He takes a picture, and this guy's got a Camaro, and he ran into a trash can because that blew across, and his whole corner panel is gone. And he's like, that's gonna be $5,000 because you're a pendejo. And the other kid's like, shut up, man, that's but the race kid knew. He's like, no, today's not a day to drive fast. We're all gonna go back. And so apparently they wound up going to the parking lot of the mall in Dallas, all 15 cars, including the one whose car got tore up. and they had a mini car show. They went into the mall, they got lunch, and they had like a baby car show in the mall. They just kind of showed off their vehicles, which was smart. That was a good play, right? But yeah, folks, plan your trips out. The house didn't look like it took any damage. I'm still dealing with 30-40 mile an hour winds, so none of my drones can handle that. Not even the big Korean one, the KF 101, the 101 won't. It's going to be so I'm going to have to wait till the winds die down a hair, and then I will go and inspect my roof with the drone to see if there's anything I need. I might offer drone footage for my neighbors for the low price of I don't know what. But I missed the beginning of theirs. You getting the storms by you? No, they hit us yesterday, but it was pure wind. We had 60 mile an hour, 50 to 60 sustained, 80 gusts. So it was basically a Cat 1, Cat 2 hurricane. But the sand and dirt that it kicked up, visibility was less than 50 yards. And they had a 40-car pileup near Lubbock. They had multiple accidents here. The oil field guys, a lot of them had to shut down because you can't lift a crane or do. The drilling rigs had to shut down. It was pretty rough. And I have no idea what that means. Yeah, be gone. Anyway, was bad here yesterday. Couldn't really breathe the air. So Billy, actually, the thank you, Coffee. Billy, the air quality here was in yellow, almost red yesterday. This is a good occasion. You know the stupid masks they told everyone to wear, like, oh, it'll protect you from the Rona. It won't protect you from the Rona very well, but when you have sand particles, it does work very well. So even if you'd still have any of those old surgical masks or the contractor masks, you know, the ones you use when you do sheetrock or wood cutting, keep those. I keep those in my truck because I get caught in these sandstorms if I'm in the field a lot. And those are usually short, maybe an hour. I can pop that on my face and at least cut down. But God, I went out to do something to pick up loose items in my yard, and I had debris and freaking dirt in my teeth and my ears. I got in my eyes. I sent the dogs out to pee. They were peeing, but they had to face the wind. It was funny. They knew to face the wind, and then they were doing this. They were squinting. Their ears went back, and they were peeing away. Except for the puppy who's stupid and peed on her own foot, but because the wind blew her pee into her foot. Yeah, the mass for sure. Did you see the excavator hit the bridge? New Mexico. Oh, I did not see that. Was it because of the sandstorm, Deuce? That's not bueno. Yeah, that's hold on a second here. There we go. Yeah, there were a lot of accidents out. So folks, that's why I check the weather every morning and every evening. It's not paranoia. It's just I know how to plan my next day. If I got a clay shoot planned and they got a dust storm coming in, we can't shoot. We can't see. We won't shoot each other. We just can't see. Now, knowing my people, we're going to try and shoot anyway. And then we're going to fail. And then we're just going to go and eat tacos in the building because that's all we can do. Yeah, if I can't shoot clays on a weekend, if I can have tacos are excellent. No, but it was a hell of a sandstorm. Yeah, Deuce, and I was talking about that. There were a lot of trucks got laid over, and because the visibility was bad, people didn't see. How many hardworking people does it take in to screw a light bulb? It depends how drunk they are, LaVolpe. In any case, so folks, plan out your trips. This sandstorm, you can look again, go on X and Insta. I put some pictures and videos up. I was kind of limited. All right, and my friend, you are goodbye. And So apparently when you video like this, you get idiots like Levope jump into the channel. That's fun. That's okay. See, you try to have a nice conversation with people and they act like that. So that's fine. Yeah, tomorrow that person won't be relevant. Hell, in 10 minutes they won't be relevant. But anyway, so folks, plan your trips. Yeah, I parked the car, so I've been on it. I'm like, plan your trips, check your weather. And if you think there's a fire risk, I highly recommend always take the time to pre-pack a bag. Be ready. The worst case, you packed it for no reason and you just put everything back in the dresser drawers. Because if you do have to leave, I'd rather be pre-packed the way we had done it. And like I said, the way we did it, we have a little gym in the garage. So I think you see the comment before me. That might be the case, Coffee. I think that's by design. YouTube allows the folks who are streaming to see it, kind of like the radio stations. Hey, Rebecca Lynn. So that they can hit the beep button if someone says a bad word. You got that 5-10 second delay. I think that's what it is. So if I get some obnoxious comment, I could just bloop and kick them out. Yes, and Deuce, I talked about that. So this area, so we've had multiple cities that either had the water system crash or a construction crew broke it and they were without water for a week. And then we had this dust storm come through. So it's been an interesting month, honestly. We had the electrical storms, then we had the water outage in multiple cities. One was clearly a construction error. The other water outage, they're investigating because they think someone screwed with it. But again, they said, hey, there's some fires forming out in New Mexico and western part of Texas in the grass. My wife and I were watching those reports. She pulled up the app where you can watch fires. And we agreed, look, we're going to lay out the duffel bags. We're going to lay out clothes. We got the emergency cash out, the bug out book. The vehicles we usually keep pretty full. The worst case we can pick up, but if we're at the edge of town, so the way the wind was blowing, it would have hit our subdivision first and then gone into the city. So I'm like, if we get a grass fire out here, we're not gonna screw around. We're gonna pack everything up. And KP had tornadoes. Yeah, Coffee. Well, now I got a cooler thing that came with this SUV, so I'm gonna I should start just leaving water bottles, even if I don't put ice in it, just having them in there. Yeah, the humidity, Billy, is terrible. I get a cough, and I never had this cough in Houston, but you get it out here. It's just so freaking dry. Yes, it was bad, but folks, ladies and gentlemen, plan your trips. Make sure that you are taking the time to think through what you're doing. A lot of the people in California, you had these big fires, and they packed after the firefighters were hitting their door saying, you got 10 minutes to leave or you're going to be on fire. I don't want that to happen to me if I can avoid it. If I can have everything pre-packed, laid out in the office or in the foyer, or even hell, put it in the cars. We'll pack one, we backed it into the garage, pulled it out, backed the other one in, packed it inside the garage. We were ready to go. Like, we literally could have been out the door, both vehicles, pets, food, clothes, papers, laptops, everything in 15 minutes, gone. So, Kentwood, fair of anything in Slidell, I'll tell you. Yeah, please do, man. But anyway, folks, look, plan your trips, be safe. What the storm did, besides cause a bunch of wrecks and damage to some equipment, was it made the whole area a hot mess. It's just an absolute disaster, just dirt and garbage everywhere. So y'all plan your trips, be careful out there. And hopefully in the coming weeks, I've got to start traveling again, which will be fun. Because when I get caught in the airports, I can do more live streams, which is kind of ironic. Like, I'm busier personally, but I get those weird gaps where I'm not getting bombarded and I can jump online more. But anyway, look, you guys be good, be safe out there. Plan your trips, watch your weather patterns, especially as we go from winter into spring. You're gonna start seeing those weird temperature patterns and weather patterns. So you guys be safe out there. God bless, and thanks for jumping in. You guys take care.